Oh, you have to wait for grain.
You said rain is not coming. Okay. You
Well, I did get it to work. I did get it to work.
okay.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. Hello and welcome to today's live. Exciting new day, exciting stuff we have to share with you. How are you, Syl?
I'm good. I'm good. Hello, Beena. Just happy, happy. I had a good interview, the podcast, episode 4. It was good.
Yes.
Sharing about pertinence and relevance. It was fun. I enjoyed doing those. It's fun. It's
Oh
fun. So,
yes. Oh
yeah.
yes. And it is exciting. It is exciting because today you mentioned something when I was asking questions about, because of course my concerns are different, and I asked him, and Syl says that okay, it's an interview, it's not a conversation, and of course it is all appropriate. Again, I'm amazed by that, how much he is adapting, and of course just being appropriate in the limited time, sharing a lot of things, and of course it's a very difficult task, really, really a difficult task to encapsulate all these such profound and detailed and complex conceptions into of course limited time, but also into relatively simple language for new people who are coming, and also to just to give introduction to something which was never been there before. I'm not saying that okay, it is something completely alien, but the concepts are new, concepts which are not usually regularly think and shared with anyone. So it's a very difficult task what Syl is doing, really, because I was just thinking, because I was asking Syl, you have to do this and blah blah blah, of course, like any other one who would do that. But I was, when he was doing the podcast and giving interview, I was just trying to be in his place. And then I said, oh my God, yes, it's a difficult task. And of course, he is very considerate. He is absolutely appropriate in this thing. So, Syl, well done. It's a good
Right.
job. Really,
Right. Thank you. Thank you, Beena. I was
really,
saying to Beena, the
yes.
podcast series, it is set up as an interview series, right? With Jilll Nicolini, a celebrity interviewer. She has her own show with interview celebrities. But on this particular version of what she does, they tend to interview people who are involved in life coaching and that all. Now, I was saying though, because from Jill's point of view, her mandate is to interview me, which is to find out what I'm about and to promote me and share the things that I'm doing, the website, the books, the courses, whatever. Right? But from my side, it's actually very difficult because you see how it is when we interact with Veena. Yes, sometimes I'm sharing a lot, but like now, Veena's sharing and I'm listening. And then we'll talk about in detail and, we have much discussion. But if you come as a participant, I'm
Okay, so Syl's internet is not helping really well today. So his picture is frozen. But what he's sharing is, of course, it is difficult for a person who has been sharing all these things. And I was asking Syl that please do take this responsibility because somehow, naturally, organically, it's just on your shoulder now to actually be an ambassador as a first representative of Nobelia-Living, and you have to demonstrate it, not only demonstrate it, but of course also share it with in full capacity and of course in its full moreness. And this is what he's doing. But it's a big, huge deal if you just put yourself in a situation that you are from another planet and you have to represent yourself to all these people who are here, and you have a completely different lifestyle, you have a completely different way of being, and then you have to represent your whole planet here as a person. So it's a difficult but an interesting job, of course. And Syl is doing a wonderful job here. Again, it is not to appreciate, but to actually emphasize on what is the real and how beneficial and profound the real application of the conceptions from way of compatibility in real life. It's a very practical thing. It's business, and we can do business ethically, impeccably, and of course with moreness. This is what Syl is representing, without compromising your integrity, without compromising your moreness, without compromising your impeccability. Still, you can do a lot, and this is what we are actually implementing and practicing. Anyway, still Syl will come back and join us again. If that was my thought of the day, but again, of course, I have so many more things to share as usual. When yesterday I was trying to be uh, as present as I could, but things were not coming right for me. Health and of course some circumstances. But whatever it is, sometimes no matter how much we try and we are willing and keen to be there somewhere, to be fully present, to be absolutely as maximum productive as we can, we do try, but few things just try to give you a message that this is the time to hold on, this is the time to just take a break, or just take a pause, and then a moment to take a breath, and like, okay, yes, keep breathing slowly and pay and just pay attention to what it is, and do not insist on taking the control from universe. And that is again coming back to the central column of this conversation we had now itself, that it is about being appropriate. Appropriateness is the key. Once we, I personally feel that once we truly understand the real depth of appropriateness, then there will be no fight of war between two people, no fight of control between two people, actually, no fight of like, okay, for dominance. It is appropriate if someone is taking charge and they have skills and they have some understanding and they understand that, okay, they can handle this, and I will just say, okay, yes, it is appropriate. If someone is skilled into something and someone is, okay, taking responsibility, for me, okay, I can sit and let them do. Why? Because of appropriateness. If people will understand this, the concept and the real depth of appropriateness, I personally feel that there will be no argument at all, especially in relationships. No argument. Okay, yes, it is out of appropriateness. If someone is doing something, you have another role. The whole universe is actually designed like that. But it's a nature's law, but we don't pay much attention to that. Anyway, so you're back. Oh, okay, okay. I can continue. Still, I'm not hearing anything from you. So this magic of appropriateness can be the real foundation. Of course, we say that impeccability is the real thing. Impeccability and appropriateness goes together hand in hand. But appropriateness for me, many times it comes before the impeccability. Why? Because sometimes I'm not sure about the intent. My intent, I'm not sure about the intent of other person. I'm not sure about the intent in general. I'm not understanding the universe's intent. So, and when I'm not clear about my intent, how can I be sure about my impeccability if I'm not? But what I can be sure about is trying to be appropriate according to the situation, circumstances, my understanding, my awareness. Appropriateness is the key. And once we set our intent to try maximum to be appropriate in any situation, in any circumstances, there's no way that we will have any regrets. There will be no way that we will have, and of course, all other people are also trying to be appropriate and setting their intent to be appropriate, and there will be no fight, no arguments, nothing. It all will be just learning and growing because, oh, okay, okay, yeah, it is coming via attunement, it is coming via appropriateness. So we are learning, we are growing, and this is what we are learning from way of compatibility. And this is what is lacking. I personally, okay, my understanding, my reading experience is very limited in terms of numbers of books. If I have to say that very accurately, I have read very limited books, but I have been learning from people who have been reading like thousands of books, literally thousands of books. And they were not just reading or flipping pages, they were truly practicing capital R reading of many of them. Not entirely, like, okay, like in Syl's case, 10,000 books. I'm not sure that he was doing the capital R reading for all of the books because some might not be worthy of, but whenever he will find some, he would be like, oh yes, this is something I'm going to pay attention to. And same like Syl, I have been with many people, like my friends, my mentors, my family members also. I've been reading and learning a lot, and I'm learning from them. But no one ever actually explained the philosophy of appropriateness ever before, not to me, none. And this is really amazing because so many philosophies, especially like the Zen, because I have been reading and of course in discussion with some of really senior practitioners of Zen philosophy. I don't know, really, I'm confused with Zen that, okay, it's an ideology, it's a philosophy, it's Zennism or it's something like that. I'm not sure about this. I always get a bit vague when to mention Zen. Anyway, right now, Zen philosophy. I never heard this term of appropriateness from anyone. And for me, that was really confusing because when I assume, or at least this is what my understanding, they do lack the idea of appropriateness. That's why so many ideas and concepts are so confusing, at least for a person like me. That was really confusing for me. And now, when I look through the lens of appropriateness, a lot of things make sense to me, total sense. Like, okay, oh yes, okay, now I understand. Now I got it. So, this idea of appropriateness is so amazingly transformative. You can just take this idea of appropriateness from Way-of-Impeccability and Moreness-Project from Syl, of course. Okay, it is coming from his source, and just apply it in life, and then start reevaluating or revisiting all those concepts and ideas you have been exposed to before, and you will see that how everything will change for you. So I'm not saying that, okay, people who were practicing and who are practicing Zen or any other ideology, of course, religions also. But if you see it through the lens of appropriateness, it really transforms everything. Because appropriateness asks you, urge you to look things in the context. So at that time, what was happening when someone was sitting there with limited resources and what he or she was figuring out, that was a great help for us. But it doesn't mean that we have to just stick to that philosophy. Even that person, whoever, could be the biggest name in the history, uh, if they would be right here with us, they would ask us like, okay, yes, so found it, now go. Because they were not satisfying themselves and, okay, yes, this is what it is, now I got it, everything. No, they were really some revolutionary kind of people. They were thinking outside the box, and they were creative. They were not satisfied with whatever. There was no whatever in their life. With so limited resources as compared to now we have, at least this is my understanding, and with so little of sharing from other resources, they were such profound people that they were able to figure out so many things for us. But that was the foundation they were laying. It is up to us now. Okay, so at least I'm privileged to have all those understanding from them. So now what I am doing, unfortunately, what I see, and including myself, I feel ashamed at least for this, that I am just still trying to understand what I already have. I'm not among those who were and who are creating new paradigms. I feel so amazed by those people that in the centuries ago, they were doing that. They were creating the paradigm I'm living in. I'm just trying to figure it out like right now, what I'm dealing with. So at least in my understanding, I'm way behind them. But it doesn't mean that okay, we are going to just stuck here and then we will not try. I'm trying my best to be part of this thing, to get a resolution for this paradigm, and then be able and elevate myself to be part of a new paradigm. This is something I'm working on. I'm continuously working on because the mundanity of life is going to be same. It was same since my childhood, and it will remain same till the last breath of me in this world. So I have to deal with this. We need to take all these things as part of our life. Like this is life. But with all these things, we have to manage. We have to learn to manage with all those things to create something new for ourselves and for others. This is what older people were doing in the older centuries. They were doing that. They were able to create all those things. Look at someone. Just pick any name, whatever you like, whoever you like, and look at the writings. They were so revolutionary. They were so modern. They were so up to date. They were so amazing and creative. But now when I look at myself, I'm like, okay, wow. Okay, I'm still trying to understand what they have been transferring it to us. Just leave the idea of creating a new paradigm or be part of it. Again, coming
Yeah.
back to appropriateness. Oh, you're here?
You hear me?
Yes,
I'm
now
here.
I
Do
can
you
hear
hear
you.
me?
Yes, now I can hear you.
I'm fine to you, enjoying listening to you. I'm on the phone, which is why
Okay,
there's no video,
okay.
because the computer still was rebooting. So what I can do, Bean, is if you go to my email and just search in the inbox, search for Kindle Previewer, and you should get an email that I sent to Dave's wife, right? And it'll have the link for Kindle Previewer. I suppose you'll have to set it up. It may take a while, but let's see how quick it goes. It may take only a second or two, and then install Kindle Previewer, and then open the the, the file that's attached there. Right? Okay, never mind. Here it comes. Here it comes. Here it comes. Wow, that was a very hard reboot. Dang. That was amazing. I don't know why it took so long. Okay.
I was just chatting with myself, sir,
Well,
while you were not here.
loved it. It was very beautiful. Can you do a recap of what you were saying? Because I just heard the end and it was very interesting, and now I'm really keen to know, and I can't
No,
wait until I watch it
it was
later. So you
about
have to give me a
this.
recap.
Okay, for me, okay, just to encapsulate in few words, that I was just sharing my understanding, not my understanding, but actually my appreciation for introducing uh, the philosophy of appropriateness, the idea of and the conception of appropriateness with us, because so many things now make sense to me, like the Zen philosophy, what they were lacking for me. Again, I'm not saying that okay as an absolute. I'm just sharing my understanding of Zen, Zen philosophy, Zenism, Zen life, whatever way of being. That what it lacks actually is just the clear definition of appropriateness and application, of course. And
Exactly.
that's why it is so
Exactly.
confusing for me. And at least, of
Exactly.
course, I was feeling that okay, I have a very limited experience and of course of reading, but I have been in contact with so many people who have been really doing the capital R reading of so many books, including of course yourself and of course some practitioners of Zen philosophy and other ideologies like some religion and of course some other, but I never heard this word appropriateness in its fullness.
No.
Anyone, and that is something
Exactly.
I was just saying
And not as a philosophical concept of living.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
doesn't exist, Ian. Yeah, it's not out there. It's
Yes,
quite
Yes.
That struck me. Yeah.
I'm not sure that it is breaking for me or for everyone, but it's dropping big time, sir. So yes, okay. I was just sharing about that how profound it is for me and how transformative just one idea is, and that is why I feel that okay, if we just learn and understand, not to apply it on a like really abstract way, but just in regular life, in the mundanity of life, the sense of and the idea of appropriateness, it can transform our relationship with our spouse and, of course, our family and friends. It can transform our relation with ourselves and, of course, no regrets and a lot of things. It can be really, really a big, huge transformation if we understand and start applying the real and the fullness of appropriateness in our life. Of course, it cannot be applied on its own only, like completely isolated. No, of course, appropriateness comes with integrity. Of course, you need to have your integrity and self honesty and trust and all other concepts. But to understand, to start from appropriateness is a big deal, big, 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 huge deal. And I was also appreciating people who were in few, like, okay, some centuries ago, when they had limited resources to share, and of course, they had limited resources from other people's sharing to get like really advantage of that. And still, they were so up to date, they were so creative, they were so revolutionary in their own way of being. They created something new. They were trying to create a new paradigm, which I am now living in and having advantages of, as compared to the old primitive time. I am in a new paradigm. But I am still, with all this abundance of knowledge and awareness, I'm still struggling to get resolution of my mundane life. I'm thinking about creating a new paradigm is a
Are
completely
you
different.
struggling, or are you
I'm using
continually
myself.
challenged?
I'm using myself as in general, that we are still struggling and of
Oh,
course
right. Oh,
dealing
I
with
see.
the mundanity of life and don't have time and energy and awareness to think about creating a new paradigm. So that's why it is so important and so crucial to grab this opportunity, because if you are aware that how much benefit we are reaping from other people's work and their really bold steps and their initiative to create a new paradigm for future generation, which I am now and you are now in, now it's our responsibility to have this thing to further it. And that is something I was just sharing, that okay, how appreciative I am for those people and how I really feel this, that I could be okay even if I cannot create a new paradigm by myself. At least what I can do is to, whenever I see moreness, when I see something, even just a glimmer of light, I can grab on it and I can just start applying it. So that is something
Exactly.
I was sharing about.
Appropriateness is core and simple philosophy. Right? It's the whole philosophy of appropriateness. When appropriateness becomes your philosophy, life becomes incredibly simple because you've now taken every sensibility you confine into, condensed it or contracted it, into one concept. That's it. So you know. But of course, in order to be appropriate, there were actions, there were concepts. So even though it's one concept,
Okay, Syl, we lost your voice again and you dropped also. I'm not understanding that you are hearing me. Can you hear me? Syl, can you hear me?
not appropriate,
Okay.
right?
Syl,
It
can
all
you hear me?
depends.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you did. Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, so you were dropped. We were not hearing anything from you.
Oh, do you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I was saying the magic of appropriateness is that you don't have to remember. It figures itself out in the context. The other part of this that's very important, Beena, before I continue, how well are you hearing me? Because I'm using the phone
Now it is good. Now it
audio.
is good. Now it is good.
Okay,
Before it was chopping and
okay.
then you dropped. We were seeing you that okay, you were talking, but no sound.
Oh, okay. Right. the magic of appropriateness is when I did the Great Reading Project, which was to read all the classics in chronological order. Okay, that was a very big deal. So it took me a couple of years, for those who don't know, to collect all the classic books, works, literature, philosophy, religion, economics, you name it, whatever was considered to be a classic, the great books of the world, in other words, right? And then I sorted them in order and I read them in chronological order, starting from the Vedas way back when, going through all the times. But I noticed something that, you know, it struck me at one point when I was reading Musashi, actually. I said, come on, man, you know, you can sum up your whole book in one word, and that's appropriateness. And it really intrigued me. And then I started looking at this, how this concept of appropriateness was not mentioned. And I actually looked it up once upon a time. Actually, Beena, you were with me when I looked it up, because back then there was no internet. But I looked it up not so long ago, actually. I searched for, you know, you can get the full text of the Bible and the Quran. Neither of them mention the word appropriateness. It's just fascinating to me. But here's the point I want to mention, Beena. The breakthrough that occurred for me, at least that's how I'd been thinking, but what made me realize it was about abstract conceptuality. This was lacking. In other words, that overview perspective, where I take that whole book of Musashi's and I condensed it into one abstract concept, because he repeats the same thing over and over, just in different angles, right? It's coming at it from multiple perspectives. So I said, wow, right there, you know, he was using multiple perspectives and he was talking about appropriateness. But in two conceptions, I have his whole book, which I can now carry with me. I don't need to remember what he's saying. I don't need to remember the details. And that's where the dictionary of power whole mentality really started to take off, right? Because I'd been doing that. I didn't even realize it. But it's the abstract thinking which is what's lacking in all of the philosophy. Because all of them are really trying to tell you how to live. So they start giving you specifics. No. When you say the philosophy of appropriateness, how does that tell you how to live? Well, it kind of does, but it doesn't. You have to decide what's appropriate. Well, how can anybody else? Because only you know what your situation is, not just externally, but internally, right? Context. But also, you are the only one who really knows what it is that you want to accomplish and achieve. Yes, what your goals, your motivations, and your intents are. So, no one else can determine appropriateness for you. Can maybe supply you tools for how to be appropriate, and that's what Way-of-Impeccability is. But it cannot tell you specifically what to do. But this is what people want, and that's when you go back to all the great works books. They're always trying to tell you what to do. It doesn't work, and it cannot work. But the key concept to this is to learn to think abstractly. When you learn to think abstractly, you think all details and you find the similarity and you're combining it. Yes, like in Musashi's book, two words, multiple perspectives, appropriateness. There you go. That's what you got. Now you've got something that you can work with. Yes, that's very, very powerful. And then life gets very simple when you have these concepts to work with, which is why the alternative name for Way of Impeccability is the language of conceptuality. Yeah. All right. So let's take this now. This that you've been talking about appropriateness, Beena, and I just wanted to connect it to that, because when you were saying that, you know, really struck me how much being able to think conceptually, to think in the abstract, how it changes everything. It is incredible. It's incredible, right? All right, now it's fascinating what you were talking about, because Beena had no idea what the next chapter is going to be. Yeah, I'll show you right now.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yes, positive, appropriate sobriety. At least that's the subheading.
Okay.
Let's see what the chapter says. Yeah, can you read, Beena? Is it big enough? I'll make it big enough.
Yes, I will make it big if I have a touch screen laptop now.
Oh. Excuse-moi. Excuse-moi.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yes, it is. It is. Thank you.
So you can put your fingers on the screen and make it bigger?
Yes.
Wow. Wow. I might be good. I don't need to do that. Now, I haven't said hello to Norma. I've been all sorts of stuff going on.
Oh,
So let me
yes,
do that. I
Norma,
don't even
I
have
was.
my windows open yet. So I
Oh,
can't
okay.
see anything because I don't
Okay.
want to start up all my windows because I'm scared it's going to affect the things and I don't want to lose connectivity. So you'll just have to
Okay.
say, respond to comments there and hello, Norma. If you're
Yes, now
there,
I
and I'm
can do
assuming
that.
you're there, hello, hello,
Oh,
hello,
yes. Hello,
wonderful
Norma.
Norma.
Hello, Norma. So let me first respond to that and check, and then I will come back.
Okay, while you do that, I'll share quick here.
Mm-hmm.
For those that seen it, the book two's cover. So,
Oh, yes, please do share.
yeah, there we go. That's book one, obviously, and there's book two. Very cool. Cool, yeah.
Uh, I'm not sure that it is shopping for everyone or it is just for me. Okay, so your connection drop again. We can't hear you. And it is what it is. It is happening continuously, but we are persisting. We are trying our best to make something out of it because time is valuable, and of course we have put a lot of energy into this. Still, we can't hear you. Sorry if you are talking, we can't hear you, and you can't hear us also. Anyway, uh, when it will come back, and Syl will join again, and then yes, now I guess soon we will hear from him. Sir, we were not hearing anything from you.
Go ahead and read.
Okay, okay. So, positive, appropriate sobriety. Any advice how I can change my approach to life so that I'm not taking advantage of being less generous and caring doesn't feel like an option. But maybe I'm wrong. Dear Nicole, okay, it isn't. The issue isn't being less good, but being more appropriately good. Particularly, uh, consider how we are being good when we are generous and caring to somebody who is a user. All they do is see us as an opportunity for exploitation. And we actually contribute to rewarding this primitive, short sighted mindset. Thus, we actually contribute to the problem. Wow. Okay. We have to also consider how much being caring, generous, etc., is tied to our self image. Are we doing it because of some measure of ego and status? Are we so because we find it easier to simply fold and be compliant essentially? In other words, are there less deliberate lessness motivations involved? If there are, life will not reward us. Oh my God. Okay.
Read that
If
again, please.
okay, we have to consider how much being caring, generous, etc., is tied to our self image. Are we doing it because of some measure of ego and status? Are we so because we find it easier to simply fold and be compliant essentially? In other words, are there deliberate lessness motivations involved? If there are, life will not reward us. If
Yeah.
I have to ever give an example of Nobelia diplomacy and being adamant, this is right here. Without being rude, without using any nonsense word, without, okay, for some, for me that was one, but okay, and without being harsh, just being pure adamant here. This is so brilliant. I love this. Further, is our niceness, quote unquote, connected to our self image? Isn't she already said that? Okay. Further, is our niceness connected to our self image? Are we maybe nice because we are trying to buy approval and positivity from others? But really, we have a negative self perception. Wow, beautiful. Okay, yes. I'm saying beautiful because it reveals a lot. It reveals a lot. Motivation, self honesty, and a lot of shoulds. And of course, above and all, the superiority paradigm. All just want to reach some and get some superiority in some way. Okay. Not 100%, but yes. Okay. One way to remedy such situations is to change our self image, to structure ourselves in such a way as to enable ourselves to selves to respond, react, and behave appropriately according to what is not only good for us, but to others as well. For this, we can connect to sobriety, that marvelous sensibility which is not affected by emotional considerations, which considerably assists us with not being manipulated by our own emotions. Wow, wow.
Wow. I'm going to pull that as a quote there.
Oh,
I
yes.
don't have that. Don't have that.
Okay, but
Open again.
we will come back to this.
Read it
Us.
again, please, Veena. Read it again, please.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to read for myself in the beginning. One way to remedy such situation is to change our self-image, to structure ourselves in such a way as to enable ourselves to respond, react, and behave appropriately according to what is not only good for us, but to others as well. For this, we can connect to sobriety, that marvelous sensibility which is not affected by emotional considerations, which considerably assist us with not being manipulated by our own emotions. This is like really a truth bomb right there. She just throw it on the other person, but in such with such a sensibility, with such a consideration and care, because it's our own emotions, but she brings up that it's not like, oh, you are this and you are that. Of course she could say that. Anyone can say that, like, oh, it's your thing. No, she's not saying. She's giving all the okay, the necessary or needed definition about that, and then she's saying that, like, okay, it's your own emotions. Now whatever the setback we are having, okay, I get many setbacks when it comes to get, okay, again we are not hearing from you, Syl. Okay,
Oh,
so
I'm here.
okay. So this just right at the end when she says that your own emotions, that is something huge, a truth bomb right there. Boom.
Changes everything. I just wanted to pull that quote because, you know, sobriety is a sensibility. It's a marvelous capital S sensibility, which is not affected by emotional consideration. And
Yeah.
that's a huge point. It's a very deep understanding, as you said. It's a truth bomb. I like
Yes.
that, Veena. I like that truth bomb.
Yes. Our sobriety is a positive sobriety. What makes sobriety so valuable is that it automatically shifts us to a more overview perspective. where we look at matters in a more overall sense and don't get lost in bubbles of immediacy and limited perspectives based on the now only and on our reactions and habits, but to look at matters from a more longer term perspectives and understandings, thus changing our way of being to one which is geared to being more appropriate in the overall. This
That's
is
so
again, it's
true.
very like okay, well, who can do this? Of course, a person with integrity, person with self honesty and honesty in general.
Exactly. And the understanding and with the intent or the awareness to shift from looking in the immediate to the overall. That's the key. That great big capital P perspective of overall, that overview perspective. It's a
Oh
huge
yes.
deal. Huge.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Wonderful. Okay. Being part of the world. Bottom line is one of having self self respect. We get taken advantage of and abused when our awareness is too limited and we don't have enough self respect. So we allow ourselves to be taken advantage of. Oh my God. If we
Correct.
care about the goodness and the goodness of the world, we have to care about our own well being also. For we too are a part of the world. And if we don't care about ourselves, how can we be serious about caring about others in the world? Oh, that divine idea that I will sacrifice myself for the others. Okay.
No,
Understanding
no.
understanding all in the world are not like us is critical to dealing with them appropriately. Yes.
Well,
Not
very
treating
simple.
them bad, not treating them bad or negative,
Yeah.
but to understand that they are people.
Different picture here, right? They
Yes,
put the
so very
realistic art. It looks like it's out of Final Fantasy somehow, but okay. That's for the
yeah.
question, and also this is showing, a little bit of in that potentially superiority, but somebody caught up in it, and they got a sweetness and a listens to them, and they say, how can I change my approach to life so that I'm not taking advantage? Being less generous and caring doesn't feel like an option, but maybe I'm wrong. What an incredible, incredible question, yes? That's why I put these in here and art, to connect kind of positive
Yes.
sobriety a bit here. And then, somebody who's caught up, being nice and generous, but also in an environment, right, suggested by the output here, where superiority and being taken advantage of, manipulation, etc., is part of that culture. Very powerful. I mean, it's just, I love these questions. And here we get to the next chapter. I love this. I love this painting. It's a variation of book one cover painting, right? The different parts
Yes.
of that same
I
book.
personally feel that
Yeah.
this article needs to be shared and shared with people who are in the early stages of life. For me, like children, like
Oh,
teenagers.
absolutely. 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 And the book is going to be in those categories, young adult teenagers.
Yes. Okay. Sil,
This is the stuff that, yeah.
will you please read now?
Oh, okay. Okay. So, chapter 25, Attuned Perception. Do you see in time or do you see reality? An incredible question. That's really. Yeah, Biella says this. What an awesome question, Frida. Love it. So much involved. For me, I'd have to say reality. If pressed, but with a big but and however attached. The reality of how I see matters in this context goes something like this. I love to extrapolate. That's how I enjoy connecting to the future. If there is some need to have an idea of what might unfold. Extrapolations can be from specifics, say how I see the political landscape unfolding, or general. which would be an extrapolation of my attunement. Living attuned changes the connection to reality considerably. For one, it's utterly positive, a positive realism, despite how nice or pleasant it currently may be. Hmm. Hmm. Living attuned changes the connection to reality considerably. For one, it's utterly positive, a positive realism, despite how nice or pleasant it currently may be. Extrapolating from our current situation in attunement terms is tricky, as we can bring intent into the picture. By intent, affect our matters are unfolding relative to past intent. We thus have to be careful, since intents can take much time to unfold. We have to be exceedingly patient and impeccable to allow that slow magic to unfold. The process along, we move along with via attunement. This is such a cool, that slow magic of intent. Glad Biella is bringing this up here. It's very powerful, very, very, very powerful. I was going to put that or not in there. That unfolding of life, especially when we have intents in play, particularly when we live via attunement and appropriateness, inevitably condenses into an exercise of capital. Yes, we can extrapolate into the future. And yes, this is a skill that can be developed to yield projections which have very high accuracy probabilities. But we have to be careful because no matter how much we may think we know what's good for us, our ideas in this regard are almost always limited. No idea what is possible. Possibilities of being. Thus, when it comes to seeing time, and yeah, I'm focusing on the future, but the same can apply to the past. The future to me is like these multiple threads extending out in front of me in different directions. Some threads are thick and likely, others dotted lines of maybe. Those lines of possibility, lines of unknown, lines of potential magic. Those are critical to maintain in focus. You have to see which ways things are potentially going and stay aware. For me, I've written about many of these. The most incredible has come from those lines not known. How I see reality thus contains a huge dose of possible, of unknown, of open, of potential, of trust, and of anticipation with eager relish, as I know utterly and without question, the future is one giant line of more, of better, of good. Yeah, I want to say moreness. I know utterly and without question that the future is one giant line of moreness, of better, staying attuned to the nuances of life and how they pertain to me particularly. This I strive to be impeccable with, and this is how I see my reality. A reality which includes the process of constantly adapting and aligning to the gifts, always coming via attunement. Incredible gift, always coming, constantly. Which constantly adapting and aligning to the gifts, always coming via attunement. So I have to say I do both. My seeing includes time in my reality, especially since time is more flexible and complicated than we imagine. It may not even exist. Our reality might just be a constant moment, which includes the idea and memory of past and future, which we then fill in as needed, believing in their reality as needed. Yeah. Somewhat of a metaphysical, bit of a nebulous chapter. Yes, Beena?
Yes.
Wow. I'm thinking that it may be a bit vague, but I think I'll leave it. Or make it more specific. I'll leave it a bit nebulous, right? It's a bit of a nebulous question. I kind of like the idea that it's a bit nebulous. Yeah, what do you think?
Yes. Yes. Yes, it is.
No. Is it just me, or does it seem like we've been busy for like on the live for like 2 hours. Beena?
Sorry, I missed
Beena?
that. Please say it again.
I say, is it just me, or does it feel like, well, to me, it feels like the live has been going at least 2 hours, but it hasn't even been going an hour.
Oh, yeah, it's because of the break we had.
All right, but I think we ended there for today because the next chapter is okay. It's not a very long chapter, but I don't know. I just feel like ending today. I want to, but this is an important chapter. It's a huge one, and I want to
Okay.
have it for tomorrow. So
Oh, yes, because of the
we'll end
internet.
there.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was breaking. So, okay. Thank you, whoever is watching us here, and will watch us recorded on YouTube and on in the group also. Please do subscribe, click like, and share, and also make a comment. It can be, of course, whatever you feel about it.
Yeah.
If you want to know more about it, and if you feel that, oh, you have a different perspective, please do share. And if you have some questions, please feel free to ask. Of course, questions are, for us at least, questions are love notes from the universe. If you will be a messenger for us, you want to be, please do. We love to do that because it brings so much awareness for us. Also, that by sharing and making a comment, you will be training your algorithm, your online life algorithm, to give you what you really want in your life, and to
Change your
not
paradigm.
actually load your timeline with all the nonsense or irrelevant stuff. By doing so, you are not only going to, of course, create more tidy algorithm for yourself, but also you are going to share that what people of majority of people want to see in life. And by doing this, you will help future generations also. So please do that. Not for the only for the sake of liking or out of vanity or anything. No, just to
In other
change your.
words,
Yes.
right?
No, please continue.
Oh, I say, in other words, moreness creates more.
Exactly. Exactly. Wonderful. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys tomorrow again. Thank you, Syl.
Okay.
Bye for now.
All right, bye bye. Albina, I'm going to end everything, and then I'll see you on Zoom again. So I want to screen share with some stuff.
Okay, I'm not going to leave, but I'll be there back in contact just in 10 minutes. I'm eating.
Okay. Oh, good. Okay. All right. I'll eat also then. All right. We don't need to share this with everybody. All
Yes,
right.
we can do that. Okay.
Yeah, it's all good. All right. All right. Bye bye, everybody. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye.